In this video, we're going to cover the book of Numbers, chapters 1 through 5. So our keywords have to start with the letter N. Number 1 is the letter T, so thus we have a huge net. Inside this net for Numbers chapter 1, we have a bunch of numbers. And it's the book of Numbers. That ought to be pretty easy, right? Book of Numbers. And Numbers helps us to recall the idea of a consensus. And they numbered all the people. They counted the people. They wanted to know how many people there are. So in the book of Numbers, they number the people. And so it's a book of Numbers. Chapter 2. We have to start with the N, and 2 is the letter N as well. So a picture of a nun. In this picture, the nun is placing tents like little camps on different pieces of land. So they were each tribe was of Israel. There were 12 of them. Each tribe was given a different allotment of land as to where they would live. They lived according to the tribes. So each tent, each camp is being placed in a particular place in this picture. That's chapter 2 of Numbers. Chapter 3 has to start with an N. It has, number 3 is the letter M. So name is our key word. To think of, how do you put your name? You think of a blackboard. You know, the first day of school, you go in, the teacher writes their name on the school board to tell you her name. So we think of a name as pictured by a blackboard. On this blackboard, we have a pair of Levi jeans. That tells us that in Numbers chapter 3, God talks a lot. He begins to talk specifically about the tribe of Levi, or Levites. It's the Levites that he's going to begin to deal with in the book of Numbers, and he talks a lot about them. Chapter 4 is, we have number 4 is the letter R, so we have a statue of Nero. Nero is the key word. In this picture, we have a Coke biting, like a dog would bite. Coke bite the statue. Coke bite helps us to remember Kohathite. Kohathite. Kohathites were the Levi's tribe of Levi. It was actually in 3 different groups of people. They're all Levites, but there were 3 different kinds of groups within them. And one group was called the Kohathites. This chapter, he talks about the Kohathites. Uzzah was a Kohathite. Uzzah was the guy who was moving the ark at David's command, and when it began to fall, he touched it, and he died immediately. The reason why that sounds so severe is because he knew, because he was a Kohathite, he knew exactly how that ark was to be moved, and he didn't follow God's direction. So this chapter deals with the Kohathites. Nero. Chapter 5 is the key word. 5 is L, so we have a nail. This is a nail that's resting, if you would. It's a nail at rest. So a resting nail, rest nail, or a resting 2, either way, it's in the shape of a 2, a rest 2, rest 2, restitution. In this chapter, chapter 5, Numbers, Paul talks about restitution. And in class, we talked about what restitution was, paying back. And not only did they have to pay back the same amount, but 1/5 more as well, or 20%, as some of you so well grasped that day. So now, that's Numbers chapters 1 through 5.